Greetings, everyone. It's been a few days, probably closer to a week since the last time I saw you all. Greetings, everyone coming in the room. Greetings, everyone coming in the room. Let's see. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so my name is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I am here today. I am going to attempt, excuse me, not to do a long live. So I got a lot that I need to get done before midnight tonight. Oh, Leah's World, thank you for tuning in. 4K Walks and Travels, greeting everybody coming in the room. I hope y'all have missed me as much as I miss you. Hey, Carlotta, how's it going? Yeah, so I am doing this live today for a few reasons. Now, my disclaimer is that I have not studied in a while, okay? I have been working about, on average, 6 to 7 days a week. I'm not exaggerating. I actually forced myself to take today off so I can, both feet first tackle what I'm tackling, which I'll talk about. But I have not been studying at all. And even when I attempt to sit down to study, I just haven't been studying. And 4K Walks and Travels, thank you so much. Let me tell you about the Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth, baby. This book is like a magnet, a giant cosmic magnet. Yes, it is. I woke up yesterday morning at 6 a.m. checking my email, and I got an email from who I meant to email tonight. I got an email from a woman in Germany, and she found me the same way. She was like, this book is everything. I want to translate the book and read it in German, so on and so forth. The book is like a lightning rod is what it is. But before I get into that, because that's one of the things that I was going to be talking about. I have a lot to talk about today. But what was I saying? I haven't been studying. And if you've been following me any period of time, that's problematic for me. It's problematic for me to not be studying, right? Especially as so much is happening right now. So much needs constant, critical, circular analysis, because the common narrative of everything that's happening in one way or another. Greetings, Shauna Michelle. Greetings, Balance. The comment, greetings, Marie Carly. I hope I said that right. Marie Carly. Greetings, everybody. The reason that I need to be studying is because the common narrative is always so super simple. Greetings, Knesset. So super simplistic, overly simplistic. It does not, there's just so much happening, and I need to be studying and working 6. Greetings, Samara. Working 6 and 7 days a week, man, I've not been able to study, right? And so like tonight, after I get off this live, I'm multitasking. I actually have to prepare us for the book club tomorrow, which I'll be talking about. Prepare us for the book club tomorrow so that we don't go on a 4-hour diatribe like we did last time. We can be disciplined. We can have an agenda. I'm typing out an agenda to email to you guys. I'm developing bullet points of what we want to draw out from tomorrow's discussion. That I'm doing today, right? And so tonight I will be studying. I don't have a choice, even as I'm doing this other thing, this deadline that I have to meet by midnight tonight. But, I definitely, greetings, femme fatale. I definitely do not want, it's the thing that I've been talking to you guys about for years now, is, creating a world where the busyness, the deliberate busyness of our daily lives distracts us, especially women, distracts us deliberately from being able to do what we are called to do, what our energy calls us to do, what our spirit calls us to do. You know what I'm saying? And, in this book, Pure Lust, that we've been going over, I don't remember where the hell it is. I ain't even gonna fake like I do. But that's the reason that we got to break the book down. But she was quoting an author, and he said something to the effect of, many a genius, I don't remember, I'm paraphrasing, but many a genius born female are lost to the cause of good deeds. Do you understand what I'm saying? Anyway, so greetings, Reverend Brianna. So anyway, that is something that has been kind of like, y'all know me. I go into wormholes, for pleasure. You understand? I go into deep dives for enjoyment and entertainment. You feel me? For me, not to be able to study has been the source of great distress. So that's one thing. Then the other thing is, because I'm getting right into it, I'm going to talk to you tonight. Last week, because I could not study, I had promised that last week I was going to do like a preparation live for us entering into this Pluto entering Aquarius, which happened on Saturday. Okay. So I was like, yeah, we need to be ready. This shit is about to pop. I remember me telling you, like, being mindful of the magnitude of this particular alignment. Be prepared for those in positions of power to pull some kind of radical ass jack move. Be paying attention to the headlines. Remember me telling y'all that? Pay attention to the headlines. Send me articles if you see anything within 48 hours before or 48 hours after January 20th, when Pluto left Saturn and shifted into Aquarius, right? I did not do that live because I ended up working, right? And I've worked every day. Today is my first day off in 12 days. 12 days, okay? And so I was like, all right, I just didn't do it. I ain't nothing I can do about that. But in even that little brief that I did, I was like, yeah, just keep your eyes peeled because these motherfuckers gonna try to pull a jack move, right? Well, I was focusing so much energetically on like the big picture, world occurrences and world goings on and world politics, and you know what I'm saying? Because I was reading articles trying to find something to talk to y'all about or whatever. And then that was on last Thursday, right? That I did that live. And then 2 days later was Pluto's official shift into Aquarius, and Pluto will be in Aquarius for the majority of this year. She will not shift out of Aquarius until September 1st, right? And I neglected to, really talk about your own life. Be mindful of radical changes and occurrences that may happen in your own life. As you know, we're a part of a whole, right? We're a part of the big picture. And so be mindful, and I didn't do that. And so me not even being mindful, present, baby, let me tell you, I'm sharing, I'm oversharing. Greetings, Moel. Many of you who have contacted me at any time in the past may have received an email from me in the last 24 hours. So let me tell you what happened. I was in here on Friday. So during the day, my work is trying to do work for the temple, right? So Friday, I spent most of the day on the internet talking to different organizations, communicating with different organizations, because there's still a ton of questions that I have to answer about the functionality of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, right? And so that was like daunting. I was on this freaking Zoom call with this guy who's like a mentor for the Small Business Association. It was just a lot, right? So there are days where I will get up and go straight to the computer and start doing work. And then it's 5 o'clock. It's time for me to leave the house to go to work, to my paying job, right? Which is, right now doing out calls for people, right? So I did see that for walks and travel. Can you resend that email? Because I think you sent it last week or maybe over the weekend, and I can't find it. But I remember seeing it. So if you can just re-email me, that would be great. And I can get you those details as soon as we get off this call. So anyway, so Friday, I was here when I tell you I didn't even walk to my mailbox. I was planning right where I am now in front of the computer, typing, talking, taking notes from these meetings that I had around, the stuff that I have to deal with the temple. Okay. So my first client was at 5 o'clock. No, it wasn't even a client. I had to go do an event with Black Lives Matter. So a healing event. So I load up my table and everything and get ready to beat traffic to this event at 5. I go to walk out my door. Mind you, I haven't opened my door all day. And there is a letter on my door. This is literally hours before Pluto was to shift into Aquarius. Literally hours. Okay. I opened the letter on my way downstairs to the car, and it is a notice. It is a 3-day notice to vacate property. Okay. It said you are sufficiently behind in your rent, and you got 2 options. You can pay us all the back rent, or you can turn over our keys and get up out our sheet. And so let me tell you what happened. When I read that letter, sitting in the car, getting ready to go put my hands on people, I was like, okay, this letter is going to have to sit on my car seat until after the weekend, because I had clients booked all weekend. I worked from Friday at 5 till Sunday. I didn't get home Sunday night until about 1 o'clock in the morning. From Friday at 5 to Sunday night late, I worked 36 hours. 36 hours I worked putting my hands on people. So when I got that letter, as I'm going to do healing work, I was like, okay, this cannot take up any space in my head right now. This can't take up no space in my heart. Can't take up no space in my head. You feel me? And so I put that letter on my seat. I took a deep breath, and I did not yield once in the whole weekend. I did not yield to fear. I did not yield to panic. I did not yield to anxiety. I was like, this letter that's sitting here on my car seat will be right where it is come Monday. Come Monday, I'm going to hit the floor trying to execute a miracle. And I was certain of its execution. So that letter stayed right there on that chair, and I didn't think about it one moment more. Did my work in the different places. I had 2 events that weekend that I had to do, and then my regular job. There were jewelry orders that I had to fill this weekend. So I worked. You feel me? 6 o'clock Monday morning, I hit the ground running. You feel me? And so I'm prefacing that because for several reasons. One, because, and let me tell you what else happened. So on the same day, like I said, literally just a few hours before Pluto shifted into Aquarius, which is what this represents what? Stripping down to build back up, right? Breaking apart to, build back up. Chaos, necessary chaos to fling away. You think about a tornado, right? Or a hurricane. It's the necessary chaos to move out of the way what can't take up space so that what? New earth, new energy. You know what they say about the hurricanes back in the old days was that even though hurricanes were destructive, they always brought blessings because that nutrient rich water flinging around in the storm, right? The rain, the salt water, all that nutrient rich water would remineralize the ground, the soil for new crops, right? It would fling away old dead trees that weren't attached good. You feel me? So the same day that I get this letter on my door, you feel me? So let me tell you about spirit. Let me tell you about my walk with Oya. Let me tell you about Pluto, okay? Spirit knows me, knows all my potentialities, okay? Now, knowing I had to do all this work, this energy work this weekend, my default, I promise you, would have been to get up on the horn while I had a few little hours here or there, type up some stuff, see what I can make happen. Hold on a second. So, my default would have been trying to crisis manage over the weekend. But to ensure that that did not happen, my computer, which is still new, right, which I use all the time, right, I went to install some updates on my computer before I was getting ready to walk out the door to go to work. Now, this is before I got the letter. This is me wrapping up my work. I was like, oh, well, I have to turn my computer off anyway. I might as well do these updates now so it doesn't interrupt me later. Do the updates and was going to, reboot the computer or whatever. My computer crashed. Crashed. I was like, fuck. Yeah, what the fuck? So any potential for me to even do any fundraising was thwarted because my computer crashed. Wouldn't come back on at all, right? So I closed the computer. I was like, there ain't shit I can do about it now. I'll worry about it later. There ain't nothing I can do about this now, right? So I closed the computer, go out the door, get this letter saying, turn over our shit or pay us. You feel me? And I want y'all to know this is not some shit that just happened. For 6 months, I've been paying rent, my current rent, but I have been behind in rent because I took 4 months off. You know what I'm saying? I took 4 months off because my mother got really, really sick and I went home. Okay. So I've been in this constant state for 6 months of trying to catch up, seeking out like rental assistance in the area, all the things, nothing paying out. So in the meantime, I'm hustling, paying a little bit here, 500 here towards the back rent, 900 here, 700 here. For the last 3 weeks, I've been paying these people $1,000 a week, $1,000 a week to keep my current rent current and with the excess pay towards back rent, right? So this is not something I just sprung on y'all. This is something I have been holding. I have been keeping to myself. And I'm like, okay, my work is pretty stabilized now. You feel me? I just hustle hard, work these 6-day weeks, you know what I'm saying? Until I am back ahead, right? So when I got that letter on the door after paying them $3,600 this month already, I was like, damn. I'm thinking I'm paying them $1,000 a week, so it's gonna stay them. You feel me? So anyway, I was like, I can't give no energy to it. Not my computer crashing, not my not this situation with the letter on my door, right? So anyway, those two things happened on this Pluto entering Aquarius. Now, that's the crisis situation. Yesterday, I did what I said I was going to do. I said, I'm going to be gentle with myself this weekend. I'm going to show up for people that are paying me to show up for them energetically. And then Monday is when I will start prioritizing my energy towards that, right? And so yesterday I got on, so I took my laptop to a place and they were able to, get me back right. But they had my laptop till yesterday. I didn't get my laptop back until like noon yesterday. So I couldn't even start my thing. I was doing what I could from my phone, but I can't really do anything significant on my phone. So I picked up my laptop, went right to work, right? Trying to multitask because I am, y'all, I've been telling y'all, I'm planning 2 events right now. I'm like, I can't have this shit taking up my space where I'm trying to organize these events. So I have an event that I'm planning for February 25th, right? And then I have an event that I'm planning for March 9th, right? So in the meantime, I'm like, okay, I have to make flyers for these events. I've got the book club tomorrow. I got to do all that. I got to create the Zoom and the Eventbrite for that. So I spend a couple of hours doing that. I got to figure out how I'm going to get a flyer for my event so I can go ahead and start selling the event. You know what I'm saying? The event in February, which is a mini couples retreat, right? So I got all this stuff going on. In the meantime, this day, yesterday, I got to pull a jack move. And so I'm saying this because I do not ask, right? And so what I did yesterday was I sent out a mass email. Some of you got it. Some of you responded saying, support my practice. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, look, buy a reading, buy 2 or 3 readings and I'll give you a discount. Buy a nutritional consultation. If you're local, buy yourself a treatment, buy a family member a treatment. You know what I'm saying? If you pay for 2 or more in advance, I will give you a discount on said treatments, right? But my thing was yesterday is if I can get 40 people to spend $150 with me, I can meet this goal, right? Which I have until midnight tonight to meet, right? So I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just, if people want to make a donation, I will accept it. But what I am doing with this email is saying, just support my practice, support the skills, buy from me. You understand? So anyway, I did that. And that was, like I said, I didn't get that email out to everybody that I at least had contact for. I didn't get that email out until 3:45 when they kicked me out of the library. 3:45, I believe it was, when I got it all out. And as I was leaving the library, I got a message from the first person who responded to the call. And that message moved me so, because, and I'm going to tell you, this woman's message, 3 other women after her who responded to the call said almost verbatim the same thing. Her first words were, I am so happy that you asked. That's what she said. She sent me a voicemail. I am so happy that you asked for what you needed. You hear me? That shit moved me. She sent a long voicemail, but the gist of it was that, and I know this feeling and I know this place. Plus, I'm a Virgo. We afflicted that way. We do that shit. You understand? The goddamn whole weight of the world will be coming down on our ass, and we still won't ask for no help, even though we know that there are people around us that would come the fuck through. You feel me? And so even yesterday, what I was asking for was this is the situation. It is urgent. I have until midnight tomorrow, but please just support my practice. Please elicit my skills. You understand? And so she responded to the call and she said, "This is a gift," right? I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." The second person who responded to the call was like, "This is a gift." I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." So from 3:30 yesterday, so I'll just tell you, my goal was $6,000, is $6,000. I have to have $6,000 by midnight. My goal was $6,000. And as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, I have, where's that? I wrote it. I'm more than halfway there. The balance is $2,384, which is amazing. It's really freaking amazing that people showed up that way. I'll be honest, even though the email what it was, which was, look, I am a skilled person. I'm a skilled woman across many areas. You understand? I'm a skilled person. So just for this moment, so that I can solve this crisis that I'm in, just take advantage of my skills. Right? And I will be honest, let's see. Of the $3,615 that I raised in the last 24 hours, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 7 of them were the purchase of my skills. Everybody else gave as a donation, which is I'm so overwhelmingly grateful for. There are no words that can even begin to articulate how unbelievably grateful and overwhelmed I am by that. That's radical. You understand? That's radical. You feel me? Like, I'm still in awe. But there's a lesson in it. The chaos creates the lesson. You understand? Because I've been sitting with this crisis managing, doing without so I could put everything towards for months and months and months. This is my problem to solve. Right? Yeah, there's a couple of lessons in this. One, I know that the women that reached out and were like, "I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking." Right? Thank you for asking. That was deep to me. That was deep. Even though I know superficially why we do that, that was deep to me. That 4 times that happened yesterday. And I know why it happens. Because even as we do these things for others, we put ourselves in situations willingly to show up for others, to give to others, to do for others, to put our hands on others, to help others, right? We still, if we're honest, hold it in us that we don't have a right to ask, that we don't have a right to ask for help, that we don't have a right to expect to be supported, that we don't have that for women it is seen as an inherent weakness when we need help. But men don't hesitate to ask for help. Men don't hesitate to expect a constant flow of resources, of money. And they ain't shame about asking. And so, and then for what it was for the fact that it was for, my living situation. Miracles happen in my life all the time. I tell y'all that. All the time. All the time. But it's moments like this where, you can get a letter on your door that threatens your very your very foundation, the very basis of your stability, that it would be easy to descend into panic. Somebody asked me how I was doing today. I was like, eerily calm. And I meant it. Like, at no juncture since Friday when I got that letter do I feel fear. I didn't. Not once. And that's me being dead honest. I even asked myself, I was like, okay, am I crazy? Like, am I just being detached right now? Like, is this an emotional response of detachment that I'm experiencing right now, that I'm not panicking about the situation, that I'm not freaking out about the situation? I'm even questioning the calm that I was experiencing this weekend. You feel me? And I'm telling you all of this because when these seemingly simple things, or these things that keep coming up, about how we need support. The first thing I thought about, and I just talked to the sister who's a minister, an elder who's a minister, before I got on here. The first thing I thought when I started seeing these contributions come up, the first thing, my default was, oh my God, I have to create some kind of way to pay this forward. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe have events every quarter or something where we just throw a big ass party and all the proceeds go to a local person who we know needs help. They ain't got to go through no organization. They ain't got to go through no rigmarole. They ain't got to go through no background check. They ain't got to go through none of this shit. We identify a person who needs immediate help, throw the party, make the money, pay. This has to happen because, this shit just, this act that you all participated in over the last 24 hours is like monumental. It really, really is. It's monumental. I have filled out so many applications, jumped through so many hoops over the last few months. And this was everything. What y'all did. You understand? And I believe that it had to happen this week. And I am convinced. I just spent a couple of hours trying to do a little research to talk to you guys about the Pluto and Aquarius energy historically, what it's meant, what significant events have correlated with this energy over the last 3,000 years. But it had to happen this week because I'd been saying all week last week to you guys, no matter what I was talking about, be mindful. This Saturday, Pluto is entering into Aquarius. Those of you who have been following me long enough know that I often go back to Ifa cosmology and mythology. Oya is Pluto. Shango is Aquarius. In the mythology, they are married. They go into battle with each other. These, for all intensive purposes, have been reduced to, quote, just gods of war, Shango and Oya. But when you read the mythology about their relationship, about the dynamics of their relationship, about how the only way Shango was able to realize his God self was through the assistance of Oya. You understand? He couldn't have been his God self without Oya. You understand? Like, all of these things that begin to clarify a topic that has been made mystery for a long time. So Shango and Oya just met, just linked up again together for the first time since 1777. Pluto and Aquarius, Shango and Oya just reconnected with one another for the first time since 1777, since basically the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. Yeah, right? And within that period that Pluto was in Aquarius, which was about 20 years, was from 1777 to 1798, the American Revolutionary War, which gave birth to, what we know is the good old United States of America, and the Haitian Revolution and the French Revolution all happened within this 20-year period of time. Okay? When Pluto officially enters Aquarius for good, because in September 1st, Pluto will shift back into Capricorn for just about a month and a half. Pluto will shift back into Capricorn until November 19th. And then on November 19th, Pluto and Aquarius will meet together ongoing until the year 2044. So 20 years, right? Though Pluto in Aquarius transitions, conjunctions are always permanently transformative, not just in the area, ripple effects across the globe, permanently transformative. And we right in the thick of it. We right in the stink of it. It is not a coincidence, by the way, that just 2 weeks after this most controversial presidential election, Oya and Shango, Pluto and Aquarius, will meet for this new 20-year period of time. You understand? It's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. Okay? So while we're paying attention to the outside world, it is important for us to be paying attention to our internal world, our personal life, how our money is going to change, how our health is going to change, right? Because that's a big one. How our health is going to change. Is Pluto wreaking havoc in your life in a way that you know is going to be beneficial, right? It's going to force you to it's going to force you to face those things that you hesitated those things that you were always hesitant of facing. One of the big themes, because it's Shango and Pluto, Shango and Oya, or Pluto and Aquarius, one of the big themes is radical courage. What have you been tiptoeing around lightly? What have you been timid about doing that you know needs to be done? I don't know about y'all, but that shit hurts. It hits a little. You feel me? Like, what bodacious, courageous, radical action have you taken that corresponds with or aligns with the ideas that you have in your head? The things that you say you believe in, right? The things that are dear to your heart, the things that you say you want to see in the world. What radical, bold, and courageous action have you taken to make sure that that is certain, that what you see in your mind's eye can exist in the real world? Have you taken the bold and radical action that guarantees this thing in your consciousness becoming living and breathing in real time, in the present, in the right this motherfucking minute, in the right now, right? Pluto is the governess of wealth, right? And so in Ifa tradition, Oya is the goddess of the marketplace, the owner of the marketplace, right? Especially women entrepreneurs. She wants women to be wealthy. She wants women to be abundant. She does. She, as Oya or Pluto, governs everything. So we say she's, as Hades or Pluto, they say it's the god of the underworld, right? And our default programming has us think about hell or some shit. You feel me? But the god of the underworld, which is Tu or Ya, right, governs the underworld, is everything that rests below the horizon. Everything that resides below the Earth's surface is the domain of Pluto. What lies below the surface? Crystals, rubies, diamonds, oil, coltan, cobalt, plutonium, uranium, all the things that represent wealth: gold, silver, copper, tin. Everything that rests below the surface of the earth, everything that rests below the horizon, is the domain of Pluto or Ya. That's why In Ifa tradition, she is known as the owner of the marketplace, the governess of wealth. And in Africa, the marketplace was owned and controlled by women. So, of course, she wants women to be abundant. She wants them to be thriving, right? So, people think about, and it's been my complaint about my 15 years as a practitioner, a devotee of Ifa, has been my complaint, my incessant complaint, because everybody sees Oya is this like boogeyman of the tradition. You feel me? Like, she bring the storm, she bring chaos. It's like all things doom and gloom and shit. And I was like, why y'all? And so it would show up in the practice of Ifa. People were neglectful of Oya. Downright disrespectful of Oya in Bembes and shit. Forget the saying, you salute every Orisha but Oya. That happens so many times, right? But it's because of this myopic way that we saw total femininity. Oya represents total, complete femininity. What does it say? That they called her the bearded lady. They called her the bearded lady. Does that sound familiar to you guys? The bearded lady, the great androgyne that has existed in every society on earth, is the concept that the great primordial mother, yes, she is, for 4K walks and travels, asked, is she also like the goddess Kali? So she is the counterpart. Yes, she is a counterpart to the goddess Kali, right? But in this myopic, narrow way that we see femininity, you feel me? There's a reason that people disrespect Oya. Because Oya, even though the Apataki talk about her different personifications, that she can be beautiful, that she is beautiful, right? But because her name is she who puts on pants to go into battle, she's like, look, I can be cute, but when it's time to go to work, bitch, it's time to go to work. And I need the appropriate garments to execute the motherfucking mission. So the bearded lady, she who puts on pants to go into battle, she who has never been bested in battle, she who it is said that Shango never entered a war without consulting Oya first. You understand? And so because she is this militant war god when she needs to be, who cannot be beaten by any of the male Orisha, who uses the Egun as her army to enter into battle, right? People being inherently misogynistic have been mistreating Oya for some time because y'all hate women. And so why hold up a manly woman? You understand what y'all call manly? The bearded lady in mythology around the world is a representation of the goddess as the primordial, what they call the androgyne, the great androgyne. She's still the mother through whom creates the son from her body. All the components of males and females and all the genders between reside in the body of the mother. That's what it means, the great androgyne. She who turns in on herself to reproduce herself, the parthenogenic creatress of the planet Earth. Okay? So y'all are misogynists, and so y'all have been mishandling Oya based on your narrow, myopic worldview of who she is and what she represents. Oya, the stories of her are incredible. You understand? Beautiful stories that we all should resonate with. She who cares for the many, the mother of 9, she had 9 children that she cared for that were not her own, but took them in as her own. This is our mother. You understand? Now, the thing that's exciting about this period and about Oya, I only want to touch on this for a little bit, but it's important to talk about what is to come, what the potential for creation is from a worldview that we can relate to. Some people may not be able to relate culturally, in their ancestral memory. Some people may not be able to relate to a discussion about Pluto entering into Aquarius, because that's not their cultural historical worldview. It may not resonate with their cellular memory. But when I start to tell you stories about Oya and Shango, Pluto and Aquarius, right? I'm getting to that. Mind reading, solitaire wisdom. I'm getting to that. That's what I'm prefacing right now. The reason that is important is because the stories resonate with your subconscious cellular memory about Oya and Shango. If you are a person of West African descent, something inherently makes sense about these stories. These stories of the mother who cares for the many children, even if she didn't give birth to them. That's big mama. That's your big mama. That's your aunt. That's your auntie who never had kids of her own, but literally takes care of all her nieces and nephews. You know this woman. You feel me? You know the woman that some people outside of your culture may call the grand androgyne. We know that woman, the big mama type, who got little gray stubblies growing out of her chin because of her hormones. You feel me? And she don't have sex no more because this society denies sexuality to women of a certain age. Androgyne, you feel me? With her little hairy chin. You understand? We can relate to this story. The grand androgyne, she who puts on pants to get busy, but can still dress up for Sunday to go to church with her best hat and her best dress on. These stories speak to us in a way that we can relate about what the potential for the future is, right? The number 9 that Solitaire just mentioned is Oya's number. Why is this significant? Because mathematically, energetically, all you hear these days are super spiritual people talking about the mysteries of the frequency of 369. And they go to Nikola Tesla, and he said, all you have to do is understand the secret of the 369 in order to understand the secrets of the entire universe, right? The beginning, Oya is said many years ago. Ifa is one of the oldest traditions on earth. Many years ago, it says that Oya is the Alpha and the Omega. That sound familiar to any of you past Christians? What don't the scripture say? I am the Alpha and the Omega. Biting ass Christians, biting ass Bible. Before the Bible was even constructed, the Ifa said, Oya, the mother of 9, is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end of all things. What does that mean, the beginning and the end? She's right there at the end, numerically, and right on the precipice of the beginning, of the new beginning. You see, right? It's the number of completion, yes. It is also a representation of her character, her behavior. What does Ifa say? That space between each breath, each inhale and exhale, there Oya is, because she governs the breath as the governess of the wind, right? She is there. That moment that now we always used to have little stories about way back in the day, the spark of life. The ancients knew it, but now that science has proved that yes, at the moment that the sperm penetrates the egg, there is actually a burst of electricity that they have actually been able to see on camera, on microscopic film cameras. That light, that spark of life at the moment that gestation begins, there Oya is. There she is present. That moment when you finally move from the unseen world of your mother's body to the known world, there Oya is. That moment when you have lived your life to its fullest, that moment where you exhale for the last time, there she is to guide you into the ancestral realm. She is the space between all things. That's why the Omega and the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the ending. How can you be the beginning and the ending? the space in between, right? So much more so much more I could say about her, but you can go back. Actually, I'll tell you that in my YouTube channel, I did I did workshops on America's First Pluto Returns. That was 2 years ago, but I did 7 weeks of workshops on what to expect in these 2 years that now we're rounding out, because that started on January 12th of 2020, which is when I started the workshops. No, that's not true. It was February 20th, 2022 is when America shifted into its first Pluto returns. And that's 2 years until Oya officially shifts into Aquarius, which is November 19th of this year, right? So it's been 2 years, but that workshop is still currently relative. I conducted these 7 weeks of workshops. Those are posted now on my YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch those because I talk these were workshops. So I teach a lot. These are way deep, profound workshops about what to expect in this new age that we've just leaped into, because that's what's happened, right? So that's all I'll say about that. But this is a whole conversation that we could have for a long time about who Oya is, who Shango is, and what is to come of these 20 years that they are going to be dancing together. Because when they do dance together, it changes everything as we know it. Everything as we know it. Everything as we know it. And so, I mean, look at the evidence. The last time that Pluto and Aquarius danced together, this bitch was born. This bitch we know as the United States of America officially was born. You feel me? So, that's what I wanted to say about that. Okay, let's see what time. Okay. Then there were some other things that I wanted to just touch on, so I can get back to doing what I was doing. So I took some notes. Oh, in the response to the call that I made yesterday, this young lady reached out to me, and she was like, look, this is before I sent her the email. So anyway, regardless, she texted me out of nowhere. I haven't heard from her in a few months, but she texted me yesterday while I'm doing all of this. She was like, I know it's been a while. I just wanted to tell you I've been going through a lot of healing or whatever, and something keeps coming up. Remember you were telling me about 5 elements theory? I was like, yeah. She was like, you need to teach this as a workshop. I will get, like, if we need to do an event, I will get friends to come, whatever. But she was like, that shit was so profound to me. Everybody needs to know it. You need to teach 5 elements theory, right? And so I was like, I can't believe that you have hit me with this. Let me tell you what has happened. Then I proceeded to tell her what happened. I said, I'm going to send you the email, see what you think. She texted me back. She's like, well, I see the offers that you're making, like the treatments and stuff like that, but I already work with her. So she was like, I tell you what, go ahead and organize this 5 elements workshop, and I will go ahead right now and pull together people to pay for the workshop. Figure out what you want to charge for it or whatever, right? That happened. Meanwhile, just a couple of months ago, one of the followers, one of the founding committee members of the temple was like, I want to learn 5 elements theory. And so I had just sent her videos from a workshop I had taught on 5 elements several years ago, maybe 3 years ago. So I just sent her that as like an introduction to what she would be learning, right? But it's funny because I tell y'all, 5 elements theory is my bag. It's like my soapbox. I'm like, everybody needs to know at least the foundations because it's everything, right? And I was saying this year, as a part of like the events that I wanted to create, I was like, damn, it'd be dope if I could organize like five elements festivals, right? So for each season, because each element represents a season, for each season, do a little festival, and the whole festival is framed around that element. That would be dope, right? I was literally writing this a week before she asked me about teaching a workshop on 5 elements. I was like, yes, I need to do festivals every season, and the whole festival, everything around it, the music, the everything, the ceremony, everything would be centered around the element that we are in. So since she sent me that, and that was like a confirmation of what I was already, thinking about, I was like, okay, I need to do that. She right. Greetings, Brown Eyes 906. Oh, I know who this is. Greetings, sister. So I was like, okay, that's a confirmation, right? Because I have a bad habit of talking myself out of shit. Like I'll have an aha moment. This will be a dope ass idea, and then circumstance, you feel me, will have me talk myself out of it, right? Like it's too big or it's too much. You know what I'm saying? But not this. That was like loud confirmation, especially on yesterday when I was experiencing what I was experiencing. I was like, no, this is a good idea. It's not my imagination. So that's what I'm going to plan for March. So every year, I think I've told you guys before, but every year I do some type of detox, some type of cleanse, if you will, for the month of March in preparation for the spring equinox. So March 1st, I'll say, okay, I'm not gonna eat dairy. I'm not going to drink. I'm already not having sex. So I'm going to abstain and whatever. And this is what I'm going to do in preparation for what I usually do is a big ceremony on the spring equinox, right? I usually do this detox to focus on my liver, which is the organ of the spring season. The liver is the spring season. So I usually do a good, thorough liver detox in preparation for the spring equinox, right? So that is what I'm going to plan for this workshop slash event festival. I want to do a festival, but it might just be an event to welcome the spring. So be on the lookout for that coming soon. So the 3 events that I'm planning right now are February 25th. I'm doing this mini couples retreat here in LA at Zula Den. And then I'm doing shortly after that on March 9th, I'm doing an event to celebrate Harriet Tubman's birth and death date. So the thing is, most people celebrate her death and birth on the same day because her birth date is not known. It's only known that she was born in March, but not the date. Greetings, T. And so her death day was March 10th. So most people celebrate her death and birthday on March 10th. So I'm going to do an event on the 9th, Saturday, March 9th, in honor of Harriet Tubman's 202nd birthday. And then now I have another event to plan because this 5 elements thing keeps coming up for people and for me. So I guess I need to teach this workshop or do this event around welcoming the spring within the context of 5 elements. So that is one thing that I wanted to mention. And then one more thing, and then I think I'm going to close this out. I just got a video from my daughter, a TikTok video from my daughter that was like a commercial for these 2, I guess, new candidates who have thrown themselves in the bid for the presidential election, Claudia and Karina. I didn't even write their last names down. I just jotted their first names down, but they are running under the Party for Socialism and Liberation. That's 2 women of color, Claudia and Karina. And my daughter sent me the video, and I have some opinions. I'm going to research more before I issue those opinions, but I'm going to tell you, I know that we're desperate. I know that the 2 people potentially competing against one another for the presidency is demoralizing beyond measure. I know that. And But my position is and always has been and will remain that if we continue, you know what the definition of insane is? The definition of insane is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Okay? We have to be having some frank, bodacious, even outlandish conversations about what the radical new must be, baby. And I promise you, I guarantee you, it is not the goddamn polls. It is not vote or die. It is not anything but this guy. Because that shit got y'all caught up last time. Anything but Trump. Anything but Trump. So you replace one criminal with another, more insidious, underhanded criminal. And child, I caught a lot of flack during that last election because I don't vote. I have never voted in a presidential election. I vote in local elections. I've never voted in a presidential election because that's what it means to me. This is not a criticism of anybody who votes. It is not. Okay? I honor your sovereignty. I do. I understand why we still hold out hope that this thing is going to transform something for us. But for me, as a person who has said that as long as the state remains intact, the vote will never benefit those on bottom. As long as the state remains intact, it does not matter who sits in the Oval Office. It doesn't matter their complexion. It doesn't matter whether they have a vagina or not. It does not matter if they talk hood, play saxophone, or dribble a basketball. They are agents of the state, and the state is always at work to suppress the emerging of the one. Who is the one? The collective embodiment of those of us who represent the mother. I'm just telling you I can make it super political for you if you want. If that language does not sit with your intellectual, politically scientific mind, the state is always an instrument of suppression and coercion. It's the only purpose that it has. The state is the instrument through which those that we do not see, because the government is not the issue. The government is the instrument. You see, the government is not the issue. The government is the instrument. It is the sword, the state, the sword that those who are truly in power wield to coerce, subjugate, and oppress. Why? Because those institutions that control the state can never allow the emerging of the one. Who is the one? Look at the state. Who is the one? Look at the state. Who is the one? Who are those people that use the state as the instruments of coercion and oppression? Is it a mystery? Yeah, you can talk about the Illuminati. You can talk about the Bilderberg Group. You can talk about, Freemasons. You can talk about who else? Who else y'all be talking about? Y'all conspiracy theorists be talking about who else? You know what I'm saying? You can talk about the Rockefellers. Okay, fine. Whatever suits your pleasure. You feel me? But on top of them, one at the very tip top, I'm going to tell you, is the unholy trinity. Abrahamic religions is the unholy trinity. Judaism, Catholicism, and fucking Islam. This is the unholy trinity that runs the entire fucking planet. The whole world, every aspect of it. When you talk about the Freemasons and the Bilderberg Group and the Rockefellers and all these other, the Illuminati and all of that shit, they all serve the unholy trinity. That's real. They all are tied to this unholy trinity. That's real. All other religions who may have began as matriarchal religions but are now enthusiastically patriarchal traditions, Hinduism, Buddhism, and on and on and on, they are below the unholy trinity. Now, you can be mad about that, especially now as everybody is attempting again to get you sidetracked on some bullshit. The narrative created, about people being anti-Semitic or people being, what do they call it? Islamophobic. Or listen, that's not the issue. Islamophobia is not the problem. Fucking anti-Semitism is not the issue at hand. And that's some hard shit when our narrative has been spun for us for so long and we are invested hardcore into that narrative. I say Catholicism because Catholicism is still the face of Christianity. You see what I'm saying? So all Christian religions, yes, even the freaking Protestants, you understand, they are a part of the body of the Roman Catholic Church. They are the offsprings. They are the descendants of the Roman Catholic Church. So when I say the unholy trinity, I mean every Christian organization, even the so-called progressive ones that allow LGBTQIA people to be pastors, they are all trapped in these institutions that wield these instruments of coercion and exploitation. The state is controlled by the unholy trinity. Every the fuck where on earth. Even now, as people still will say out their mouth, but the separation of church and state. Are you crazy? Have you lost your whole goddamn mind? Where does that exist? Where does the separation of church and state exist on earth? Anywhere. Tell me. Except maybe China. You understand? Except maybe China. Where? There's a separation. Well, not even China. Where does the separation of church and state exist? Anywhere on the planet. What do I mean? Because even with China, even though they don't have an identifiable, quote, state religion, if you will, you cannot act as if the philosophical beliefs of the old age are not acting out in real time in China. You understand? Like old Taoism and what's the other one? What's the other big one? You understand? That turned women into second-class citizens. You understand? That legitimized institutions of emperors and concubines and shit. So yeah, it ain't emperors and concubines in China. Now it's the opulently, obscenely wealthy and the majority poor and starving. And of them, the majority of them are women and children. And of them, estimates of 50 million girl babies killed in the last 40 years. Female infanticide in China. And you don't think that the backdrop to something like that happening in society is the philosophical / spiritual / religious beliefs that are propped up by the government? How else can you do that? Imprison women for getting pregnant on purpose, forcing abortions on women and shit, dumpings. Listen, there ain't nowhere on earth a separation of church and state. Nowhere on earth. And especially not this bitch here. Especially not the United States of America. And so, the unholy trinity that plagues the whole planet has its tentacles in everything, in every corporation, in every institution, in every school, in every hospital. We got to make this shit plain. This unholy trinity that governs us all, that creates and participates in, blesses and ordains every war. Every single war is Islam, Judaism, and Catholicism. I told you I follow the Catholic News Network. I've been reading articles on the Catholic News Network for days, trying to prepare some kind of live. You feel me? And it's like, I'm reading these articles and this shit is in plain sight. It's so butt naked because we do not know what to look for. So they can talk circles around us and we would never see what they're saying, even as the world falls apart around us. And they are active participants in the way the world looks. So they can talk in split tongue and get us invested in that shit. Child, listen. It's the thing that plagues us all. And what is its primary motivation? This unholy trinity. What is the singular primary objective of the unholy trinity? There is one thing they all have in common. Somebody tell me one thing they all have in common, and it ain't motherfucking Abraham. So-called Abrahamic religions. Abraham is not the common denominator, baby. What is this thing that unites them behind closed doors? What is the thing that they all have? I'm telling you, right here on their mind all the time. Somebody tell me so I know I'm not talking to myself. What is the one thing that they all have in common? As their primary objective, let me add that. As their primary objective, what is the one thing they all have in common? You're on the right track, but it's simpler than that. It is the full-on 24-hour-a-day work that goes into the guarantee that the mother never reigns on earth again. That's it. All the work, all the wars, all the economic shit, everything that they do, they are crystal clear about what their primary goal is the full and total permanent suppression of the emergence of the one. It's it. It's it. It's not to control women. I see y'all, they pimp out women and displace. It is complete and total suppression of. Listen, what do I mean when I say they are trying to prevent the emergence of the one? The attempt to suppress the emergence of the one. You know what the Revelation says? You know the story about the horror story of the Revelations when they say all this terrible shit got to happen first. And then once all this terrible shit happened, like Jesus gonna come back from the church, you understand? Rapture all the good people up into heaven so that they don't have to endure the 7-year tribulation. Remember that? And then after the 7-year tribulation happens, after, what they say, after the Antichrist is revealed, you feel me? And all of this bullshit, the horror story, right? And it says that after all the terrible shit happened, then what? Christ would rule on earth for 1,000 years. Isn't that what they say in the Revelation? That Christ would rule on earth for 1,000 years or for a millennia or something to that effect, right? For an age. That's the translation, for an age. Who is Christ? Who is Christ? So anybody know? Who is Christ? Within the context of the discussion we've been having for the last hour, who is Christ? within the context of this discussion that we've been having about Pluto entering into Aquarius and all of this stuff, who is Christ? Nobody? Christ is the Son, the S-U-N, the Son in heaven. Christ is the Son, right? And so Christ, and they tell you right there in your book, if your Bible, if you knew how to read it, Jesus, right? Jesus is the Christ of the Piscean age. Do you hear what I just said? Jesus is the Christ, right? Jesus is the Christ of the Piscean age. I'm taking notes. If Jesus is the Son, right? If Jesus is the Son, the S-U-N, or if Christ, if Christ is the S-U-N, if Christ is the Son, right? And Jesus is the Christ of the Piscean age. Do you hear what? Are y'all following me? If Jesus is the Christ, what does Christ mean? Savior. If Jesus is the Christ of the Piscean age, then who will be the Christ of the Aquarian age? Because Jesus tells his homies, his disciples, he is like, look, when I come back, they're going to kill me. And when I come back, I'm going to rise again. He's telling them, I'm going to rise again, because the sun always rises again. And sometimes the sun rises during the spring equinox of the next age. Okay. And so he says, when I rise after I have died, you feel me? They were like, well, how will we know where to find you? Where will you be? And he says, go into the city. And in the city, you will enter a house. No, in this city, you will find a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house therein. That is direct quote from the King James Version Bible. Jesus, as the Christ in the Piscean age, says, when my jig is up as Jesus, I will come back new. Well, they were like, well, how will we know where you is? And he said, because you're going to go into this town. You feel me? You're going to find this dude bearing a pitcher of water. He's going to enter into this house, and you're going to follow him into that house. Child, anyway. So this revelation, the Revelations, the book of Revelations in the King James Version Bible that y'all love so much, that has been scripted as this horror story of dread and doom and gloom, represents something. It represents this notion that Jesus tells the disciples, my time is ending as this personification. And his whole story is evidence of his personification. The first two dudes that he reels into his clique are fishermen, two fishermen. He feeds the multitudes with 2 fish and a loaf of bread. The loaf of bread representing Virgo. You feel me? His whole campaign was about his age, him as the Christ, the S-U-N, governing the age of Pisces. And he says, as a foreseeing, a foretelling of what is to come when his face changes. His personification, he will no longer be Jesus once he becomes the Christ in the new age of Aquarius, which he tells them in the Bible verbatim. You feel me? And so who is the Christ in the new age? What is the personification of this Christ who supposedly will reign for 100 years? 1,000 years in this new age, in this new personification? The Revelation gives you some hints, you see. You understand? And yes, the fuck ma'am, whoever Facebook user is, yes, the fuck ma'am. Yes, the fuck ma'am. You understand? So listen, that's why I told y'all I wasn't gonna go into this, but it's my bag. You feel me? It's my bag. Go back and watch those workshops that I posted on my YouTube channel about America's First Pluto returns, because I go into this really deep. But to give you the Cliff Notes version, the book of Revelation is a foretelling based on the men who scripted the book for a weapon, a tool of political power, right? They scripted it as a horror story because if you are male, if you are a patriarch with unquestioned power, like Constantine was when he started the beginnings of the draftings of this diabolical instrument, right? Called the Bible. If you are in a position of unquestioned power and some black ass Sybil in a cave somewhere foretells the end of your reign and the end of your empire, and how this will be a glorious day to be welcomed, I'm just telling you what it is. Then, of course, you are going to internalize that shit as a horror story. Because in order for the new day to emerge, that which you have built must be destroyed. So he go into this little, what is it, the Council of Nicaea, and say, look, these black bitches called the Sibyls, every last one of them saying the same thing. It ain't but a moment that we will rule. It ain't but a minute that we will maintain unquestioned hegemony over all that exists on the planet, because there will come a period in the future where we will be eradicated, where every vestige that we have built will be destroyed. That's what they told them. That's what they told them. And so they script a horror story about the whore of Babylon. Who is the whore of Babylon? Let me tell you something. When I was growing up in the church, my parents were like kind of radical Christians, right? And so you find these hardcore Southern Christians who are diametrically opposed to the Catholic Church because they worship, they pagans, and all the holidays are based in pagan traditions. And they believe, I was taught this as a little girl, that the great whore of Babylon mentioned in the New Testament, in the book of Revelations, is the Roman Catholic Church. I grew up being taught that. You ask most Southern Baptists, especially if they're hardcore Southern Baptists, that is what they were taught, is that the, quote, great whore of Babylon is the Roman Catholic Church. I do not concur. I do not concur. I believe what is scripted in the book of Revelations had to be turned into a horror story, always to be dreaded, always to come, always to come, always to be dreaded. You feel me? Oh my God, y'all. But the coming, listen, oh my God. Listen, I just did a live maybe a week or two ago where I was talking about post-apocalyptic movies, dystopian movies. Remember that? I was always talking about, dystopian movies, apocalyptic movies, and how we always supposed to be fearing the future, fearing the future, fearing the future. Meanwhile, we are living every day in this dystopian future of someone else's creating every day. Remember that? I was telling y'all that. Like, why we got to look forward to some terrible future when we exist in one of someone else's creation right now, right? And I was like, damn, we done watched 2,739 horror movies about how the end is always terrible, always bad, always evil, right? Oh my God. Listen. We always scared, fearful when we hear motherfuckers talk about the New World Order, because the New World Order is supposed to happen in conjunction with the rise of the Antichrist. You feel me? Right? The rise of the Antichrist is supposed to be synonymous with the establishment of the New World Order. You feel me? And in the last days, there would be what? Wars and holy fuck. There would be wars and rumors of wars. You feel me? And in the last days, guess what else there would be? There would be people, the Bible say men who would emerge claiming to be the Messiah. Isn't that what they say? Isn't that what the scriptures say? Claiming to be Messiah, having powers and able to work wonders. You feel me? Let me just say that this horror story that has always been in the future for us, when Jesus come back for the church, when Jesus come back for the church, right? Nobody knows the hour or time of his arrival. You know what I'm saying? The fear and the terror of the coming New World Order. You feel me? The New World Order is old. The New World Order is old. The New World Order, if you have me tell it, from my personal feeling, the New World Order began with the age of conquest. It's like hidden in plain sight. It's hidden. It's right there. We say it. When we say Christopher Columbus discovered the New World. This period that kicked off something that reverberated through, for the first time in human history, everything, every economy, every government is linked. You see, the New World Order is old. Wars and rumors of wars, bitch, what? This is not my opinion. There is not a singular period in U.S. history since the first pilgrims, discoverers got here. There has not been a decade, this is not my opinion, a 10-year period of time where there has been peace just in the United States. Where there hasn't been a war, where there hasn't been an active war. Not a decade since its founding. The New World Order is old. If anything, we are looking at the end of the New World Order. That's what we're looking at. That's what they are fighting to prevent. We are looking at the end of the New World. What else they say about the New World Order? Plagues and famine sweep the land. When I said 2 weeks ago that we have been living in the dystopian future that we've been fearful of always coming, ignoring the fact that we live right up the fuck in it. So what does that mean for the book of Revelations? What does that mean for Christ's reign in the Aquarian age, for the sons, for the personification? Who will the son be? What will the son look? What will the Christ be? Let me say that. What will the Christ look like? What will the Christ be in the new age where this Christ is supposed to reign in peace and harmony for 1,000 years? Now, if y'all have been following me any period of time, y'all know what my position is. Y'all know what my position is. Men who claim to be God? Men who claim, who proclaims to be like God? I'm not talking about rinky-dink ass motherfucking cult leaders and shit, though they qualify. You feel me? I ain't talk. I mean, they included, but they ain't who I'm talking about. Who proclaims to be like God, to have the power of God? Huh? To whom kings and emperors, and rulers, fuck, what's the word I'm looking for? Shit. Answer to whom they answer to. The ruler of the age. Huh? Who? Who is the face of power on earth? The male mother, known as the Pope. The male mother, known as the Pope. The Pope is the face of modern patriarchy. The Pope, not as an individual man with a name, the Pope as an institution, unbroken for quite some time. The Pope, the male mother personified. Savior of the world. There are more Catholics on earth than any other religion. The Pope, who, as an institution, is the largest landholder on earth. More than any corporation, more than any fucking country's government. The church, the Pope, as an institution, is the largest landholder on earth. The Pope being the personification of the Christ. What is the Christ? The white, I told y'all this before. I'm going to tell you short. The Pope is the personification of what the Chinese, under yin yang theory, call utmost yang. What is utmost yang? It's this space right here where there's no yin present. See, this right here is where it's like yang with some yin in it. It's balanced. It's harmonized. It's the masculine with feminine energy inside. But utmost yang, which is considered noon, high noon. Listen, I'm going to get deep on y'all. Y'all don't have to walk with me, but I'm going to get deep on y'all. When we say in these spiritual circles, what is like the main thing that people are always talking about? Light. We want light energy. We want to channel the light. We need the light against the darkness, to bring us out of the darkness, right? The light, right? Isn't that in every single solitary spiritual tradition? It's all about the light energy, right? Love and light, right? Let me ask you a question. Utmost yang that I just showed y'all is a representation of, what did I say? Of time, 12 noon, high noon. Utmost yin is a representation of midnight, right? Where there's no light energy present. There's no darkness present. Utmost yang, represented by the positive sign or the cross. See that? Represented by the positive sign or the cross. Yang energy is all these is all the energy that we say is exuberant, vibrant, boundless, right? Intangible. Fire, you can see it, but you can't touch it. It has no texture. Fire energy is exuberant, right? But intangible. Air, ether, right? Testosterone is considered yang, right? Masculinity is considered yang, right? And all of those things. White is the color of yang, right? White, male, fire, sun, ether. This is yang energy, exuberant, abundant, and according to Lao Tzu, always destructive. Lao Tzu said that the nature of yang is always destructive. That the only thing that makes yang beneficial instead of destructive is to be anchored by its mother, the yin, is to be anchored by yin. Some languages say subdued by yin. This is the only way that the sun is not destructive, or the yang is not destructive, but now becomes beneficial. You understand? So even though we have been worshiping the sun, the solar deities, right, for millennia, thinking that it's the giver of life, the sun is not the giver of life. The earth is the giver of life, and her son sustains that life. But if you look at utmost yang, how is utmost yang determined as 12 noon? When they used to have what? The little, what you call them? Fuck. The little sundial, the sundial. 12 noon was the period on the sundial where there was no shadow cast. That's how they determined that it was utmost yang. There is no darkness, no shadow cast at high noon. That's why noon represents utmost yang. Walk with me. Okay? Philosophically, politically, economically, socially, globally, if we are looking at the sundial of time, and I say that the sundial of time that we are at right now is utmost yang, is it a coincidence that utmost yang is represented by a cross? And that cross represents in the religious world utmost yang personified. What do I mean? Jesus as utmost yang personified. And I ain't talking about y'all who be debating about whether Jesus was black or not. Jesus never walked the face of the planet. Jesus is a myth based on astrology. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jesus as a weapon, Jesus as an ideology, Jesus as an institution of dominion and power. The sun personified as utmost yang in this age. And what is utmost yang in this age? What does the Christ represent? The period in human history where the mother no longer exists. What do I mean? The Savior of the world is God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, where the mother has officially been removed from creation. This is utmost yang represented. It is right in your face, but naked. The cross that represents white, male, Father, God worship. Now, utmost yang producing no shade, no shadow. What is the environment that would represent utmost yang? What is the of all the bioderms on Earth? What is the bioderm that would represent the impact of utmost yang? No shade, no dark. It's the desert. It's the desert. The desert is an environmental representation of utmost yang. There's no yin in the desert. No water, no trees, no rivers, no streams. You feel me? No earth. I mean, earth that you can plant and grow in. No earth. You feel me? The desert, walk with me. The desert is the personification in the physical plane of the impact of unbridled, unanchored yang, utmost yang, right? Now, let me ask you a question. I was just talking to y'all about how everything in spirituality is about the light. The light, the light, the light, the light, the light, the light, the light. Light, 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 right? Let me ask you a question. If your ass right now was stranded in the desert, you feel me? Would your philosophy be one of seeking the light? This is how theology, this is how philosophy translates to the real world. And if we're not having these discussions in a way that is tangible and applicable and always talking in these fucking abstract ambiguities about spirit and the yin and yang representing universal harmony between the divine feminine and the sacred masculine, is bullshit, yo. Is bullshit. How? Because Lao Tzu said this is a representation of the entire universe. This relationship is a representation of the entire universe. This exists in everything that exists. The relationship, when people are talking about, the yin and yang represent the harmony or the balance between the divine feminine and the sacred masculine, what is this divine relationship that the yin and yang represents between the masculine and the feminine? What is it? Because it ain't father, mother. It ain't man and wife. It ain't boy and girl. It is mother and son. It is mother and son. Because even when this philosophy emerged, there was an acknowledgement that the mother has always been, has always existed, and that she created the son from her body. You see, the divine, the harmony, the divine balance between the so-called divine feminine and sacred masculine is the relationship between mother and son, people. So now, fast forward into time, a millennia being ruled by a father God religion that has completely eradicated and erased the mother from the creative process of the entire universe. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, God the creator of all that is. The mother nowhere to be found. We are living and have been living in the period of utmost yang. And according to the medicine, the treating through the harmony of opposites, when your ass is out in the motherfucking desert with no hope in sight, I guarantee you that more light is not what your ass is praying for. I guarantee you that more light is not what you are praying for. You are praying for shade. You are praying for covering. You are praying for an oasis of palm trees and water and fruit and shit. I guarantee you, you are not praying for more light if you are trapped in the desert. Bitch, we in the desert. We are in the desert. So all these people talking about love and light, they are missing the boat. We have been living for upwards of 4,000 years. Let me correct. The whole entire last age, the Piscean age, the emergence of the sun from the previous age, which was the age of Aries, into the Piscean age, represents our entry into the age of utmost yang. Utmost yang, where the mother has finally been completely erased and eradicated from the earth in its creative process, you see. So the Piscean age is also the last age of the precession of the equinoxes. The Aquarian age represents the first new age of the first, what do they call it? Great year. The first house of the great year begins in Aquarius. What's the great year? 26,000 goddamn years. We right in it. What did I say? Oya governs the space between all things. The end of the last age, the Piscean age, the age of utmost yang, the reign of the malignant father, gone awry, murdering his mother. That's the age we've just stepped out of. And she who rests between all things is ushering in the age of Aquarius. You see, our entry into the next great year, the next 26,000 years. You feel me? This here. And so look, let's talk about the New Testament, right? The Revelations, right? In the Revelations, they talk about, okay, so the sun is Christ, right? The sun is Christ, okay? And in the Revelation, what's the primary book about? It is about the coming of the Antichrist. You feel me? The beginning of the tribulation and the announcement of the Antichrist. Well, if we're just talking about yin-yang theory and the harmony of opposites, the treating based on the harmony of opposites, what do I mean? I mean, if you have a condition that presents with heat symptoms, you treat with cool or cold herbs. If you have a condition that is what we call an excess condition, you treat with mild herbs, right? Or therapies, right? If you have a condition that is damp or wet, you treat with drying herbs. It's the harmony of opposites. You relieve based on treating with the opposite. This is the harmony of opposites that the yin yang represents. So whether it's in your body sickness or whether it is global sickness, you treat with the harmony of opposites. What is the harmony of opposites represented in yin-yang theory if you have an age dominated by an unruly? What did Lao Tzu say 6,000 years ago? Always destructive, utmost yang, where it is no longer anchored, covered by its mother. What's the cure for that? The cure for utmost yang is what the Bible calls the Antichrist. Why do I say that? If Christ is the sun, the S-U-N, what is its opposite? What is the antithesis of the sun? It is the moon. It is the mother. It is the mother. When we say that the S-U-N is Christ, and I tell you something like the only hope for a future worth living is the Antichrist. I mean that literally. It is the antithesis of a son gone rogue. She is the antithesis of a son gone rogue. What did I say the Antichrist was? Its utmost yin. It is the mother. It is the earth. It is the water. It is the dark, the time of dark where there is no light present. The dark night with a dark moon. You feel me? And so it would make sense in order to preserve its place, its reign on earth, that the creators of the Bible would create a story about the horrible time when the Antichrist emerges on earth. And isn't it interesting that the Antichrist is always some white guy propping himself up in a position of power? Because they don't ever want you to see what is right in front of you. What does the Revelation say? The whore of Babylon sits on a horned beast, draped in magenta and purple, holding a goblet. Who is that if that is not Oya? She who rides on the buffalo, the horned beast, as she goes into battle to defend her children. Who is that if that's not Oya? They give you other signs too. The what's another good one? There's a bunch of good ones. We might have to do a whole study group just on the Revelations because she's all in it. What does Revelation mean? Why is the book called Revelations? They say it was because Paul had a dream while his ass was locked up. What does Revelation mean? It means to be revealed. It means to be revealed. That's what Revelation means, right? Apocalypse. What does that mean? Apocalypse means to uncover. It means it means to uncover. That's what apocalypse means. These are all words used to describe the terrible end as the Bible sees it, right? To be revealed, to uncover, right? This is what the Revelation means. What is to be revealed? What is to be uncovered, right? And why is the great enemy in the Revelation, who Christians tell you is the Roman Catholic Church, headed by the personification of what's wrong with the planet, the white male mother figure called the Pope. So how is it that Christians believe that the Catholic Church is the Antichrist? In the Revelation, they call the Antichrist the whore of Babylon. When's the last time you heard a man be called the whore? Right? Who is Babylon? Why did they call it the whore of Babylon when in the Bible, Babylon had been long gone, wiped off the face of the planet by the time, so quote, Jesus came to the planet? Babylon was long gone. Why would they call this future and this entity that represents the end and all things bad the whore of Babylon? Because Ishtar was the whore of Babylon, the last period where the mother ruled the earth. Ishtar. She got many names: Inanna, Venus, star of, what do they call Venus? God of the morning, God of the evening. What's his name? What did Ramses say? What did Ramses say? Whenever he wanted to, what did Ramses say? Whenever he wanted something to become law. Y'all remember? In the Bible, it said that because whoever the Pharaoh was the personification of God on earth. But it says that when Ramses wanted to make a proclamation to change something, he would precede it by saying, what? I am the morning and the evening star. I am the morning and the evening star. Who is the morning and the evening star? It is Venus. It is Inanna. It is Ishtar. Right? It is the God as mother on earth. And so the Bible gives you a precursor, because in the Old Testament is when Babylon is finally destroyed, essentially wiped off the face of the map. Jesus couldn't go to Babylon because by the time Jesus supposedly was born, Babylon was long gone. Long gone. In the age of Taurus, as a matter of fact, long gone. 2,500 years gone. So why would Paul have a dream about a future that he talks about will be ruled, listen, by the whore of Babylon, who would drink from the goblet of iniquities? What? What did the Bible say? That she would be gluttonous on the blood of the saints. Who are the saints? Have you checked them out lately? Have you looked at the long list of motherfuckers who've been made saints, canonized by the Roman Catholic Church? Diabolical bastards that they were. But we read that shit and clutch our pearls because we see the whore of Babylon as some institution, because that's what we've been made to believe, to keep us away from the truth that is in the book. What did we learn when I read to you guys the Sibyls? What did we learn in the Sibyls from Mama Zogbe? She said, make no mistake, that Bible that you read, its origins. And they couldn't just destroy it and write their own shit because they didn't have a leg to stand on. They didn't have a philosophy of their own, Jews. They didn't have a philosophy of their own, Romans. They didn't have a philosophy of their own, Greeks. They didn't have a philosophy of their own. So what they did was steal the written prophecies of the Sibyls and then murdered them all, collected these oracles written by the Sibyls, spoken by the Sibyls, and grafted and molded and transformed them to fit their own political objectives. So in that Bible, there is essences of the mother speaking through it because they just changed it. They just mutated it. That's what Mama Zogbe taught us in the Sibyls. That all they did was take the Sibylline oracles and mutate them to fit their political objectives. You see. So if that's the case, and when the supposed Jesus hit the scene and Babylon was long out the picture, for an age Babylon had been out the picture, then why would that be Paul's frame of reference for having a vision about this terrible future that was to come, where the, quote, whore of Babylon, right, would emerge, right, and work in conjunction with the Antichrist? You feel me? And it is, the horror story was created to keep you from recognizing that the New World Order is old. We're transitioning out of the New World Order. The New World Order is dead shit, is dying. And what we're experiencing is it's like rabid ass reflexes, it's death throes. But the New World Order is old, right? The age that was dominated by utmost yang, literally right there on top of the yin. We just think it's a positive sign. No, it's a cross. It's a cross. You see. We think all things good are, quote, positive and all things bad are, quote, negative. But in science, if you have cancer, it is because you've had a long life of unpaired positive ions that have been wreaking havoc throughout your system. And the only way to neutralize positive ions is with negative ions. Where do the healing negative ions come from? Water, trees, particularly dense forests, and moving water. That's where healing negative ions come from. That can do what? Pair with the positive ions so that they are no longer destructive. That's science. That's science. Unpaired positive ions cause cancer and heart disease and liver disease and on and on and on. Multiple sclerosis, a whole host of shit. Positive unpaired ions wreak havoc on the system. So you go live in environments where negative ions are abundant. Moving bodies of water and dense forests are where they're the most prevalent. Mountains, dense forests, and moving water are where you have the most negative ions. So you go live in an environment where you are surrounded by negative ions to partner with all those unpaired, malignant, positive ions so that they no longer do damage in the system. I'm just telling you, this is amazing. Science and history and philosophy coming together to explain everything. You feel me? So no, if you in the desert, which we are, we're in the desert. We're in the desert of time. We're in the desert age. We're in the desert. So stop talking about love and light, please. Stop talking about love and light. Stop praying for light. Sorry. Stop praying for light. Stop wishing for light. Stop equating light with all things good and dark with all things bad. You understand? Welcome the dark. Welcome the dark. Welcome the dark. Because that is where your salvation lies, in the desert. It's just a sliver of shade to give you some reprieve. Just a sliver of shade. Just a little bit of shade. You feel me? When you live in utmost yang, right? When you live in the desert, you are literally dreading sunrise. Oh no, the sun's coming up again. Yo, I'm just trying to tell you. And I know y'all don't want to hear that, but that's what it is. And I done told y'all the story. Y'all can go back and listen to it, but I done told y'all the story where Oya came to me and spoke to me like I am speaking to you, crystal clear. I was awake. I was not asleep. I was awake when she came to me and she said two things. This was almost 6 years ago now. In April, it'll be 6 years. May, it'll be 6 years. She came to me in a waking vision and she said to me two things. The first thing that she said is the work that you have been doing as a revolutionary is admirable. It's important work. The work that you have been doing as a devotee of Ifa, it's important. It is work. It is important work. But she said, if you are serious about wanting to change the world, if you are serious about what it is you've been chomping at the bit to participate in, world-changing work, then, and you want to do that shit radically and quickly, rescue these witches out these goddamn churches. That's what she said. It was morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, a waking vision, clear as the day is long. She said, this shit you've been doing, it's admirable. It's cute shit. It's important work. But if you want to set this shit off quick and radically, rescue these witches out these goddamn churches. That's a quote from my mother. The second thing she said, I had to sit with, because I was in my feelings. I ain't been a Christian in a long time, and I was still triggered. You feel me? I ain't been a Christian since I was 28. And she said to me that when you open that moment on May 10th of 2016, May of 2016, that was the day when I started reading the Bible again. I had not cracked open the spine of a Bible in 15 years, child. That day, when I was talking to Oya, when she came to me live and in full effect, she said, now open up this book. My daughter had a Bible. I was in Alabama getting ready to help my daughter deliver her child, my first grandchild. The night before Kalani was born, Oya came to me. And she said, you see that Bible your daughter got? Crack that motherfucker open and let me show you something. I read that Bible that night, 5 fucking hours, and every place she sent me, see, there I am. It was called something else. They were called something else. This incident was, transformed into something else. But see, there I am. There I am. She did it all through the book. Old Testament, New Testament, there I am. That is me. She said, and I'm going to tell you, the boogeyman, the great big boogeyman of the Revelation, she said, baby, that is me. Oya told me in ceremony on May 10th of 2016, Cassandra, I am the Antichrist. I am the boogeyman of the Revelation. I am the Antichrist. That's what she said. And at the time, I'll be honest, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? For a long time, I was like, damn, that was so deep. What does that mean? What is she talking about? Why she told me that? Like, to get the rescue the witches out of church? Okay, that's some shit. Yes, I see that. That resonates with me. And she said, baby, I'm the Antichrist. I said, oh my God. I don't clutch pearls. Ain't been in church 15 years, and I was clutching pearls. What does that mean? Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Baby, it is the deep, the dark, the black, the hidden that must reemerge. How do you save a planet that in real time is living through the age of utmost yang, unbridled, unanchored light that is always destructive? What does yang unbridled destroy? All things yin. When unbridled, untamed, unanchored yang is destructive, it destroys trees, which is yin. It destroys water, which is yin. It destroys earth, which is yin. Is that not what we are experiencing right now and calling it earth-saving work? Earth-saving work right now. Save the planet. Save the whales. Save the ozone layer. Save the this and the that. Unbridled, untamed, unanchored yang is always destructive. And the site for its destruction is all things yin. The mother. If I am talking about utmost yang being the completed personification of the complete erasure of the mother in the creative process, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, this is our period in an age of utmost yang. And the only healing solution is to treat with its opposite, which is utmost yin. So when I'm always telling y'all gonna have to get comfortable. If you are uncomfortable with the presence of Black women in particular. If the world is ruled by white males as a representation of the Father God, who too is a representation of the Savior's Son, S-U-N, then what is the harmonious opposite used to anchor that sun, to bridle that sun, to subdue that sun? Gone astray, run amok. That's a whole word. So that's it. I didn't intend to do no 2-hour thing, but this is it. And this year is it. Pluto just shifted into Aquarius. Aquarius is the revolutionary. Shango is the revolutionary. But he ain't just a revolutionary. What else is Shango? The master of the drum, the lord of the dance. This is Shango. The turn-up man. This is Shango. He loves the party. He loves the liquor. He loves to smoke the stogie. But he is always what? Dressed to the nines. This said of Shango that both men and women loved him. He was so beautiful. Fly as fuck. Turn-up man. Lord of the drum. Lord of the dance. He loves for us to be celebratory and happy. But when it's time to go to work, when somebody is oppressing somebody else, subduing somebody else, then he pulls out the blade, you feel me? Excuse me, his double-edged axe, and gets to work. But what does he do before he goes to war? He goes to his wife, who he recognizes is a superior strategist than even he. It is said he would never go into battle without consulting Oya. You understand? He would never enter into battle without consulting Oya. Now, in Ifa tradition, they call this union the husband-wife union, the partnership of Shango and Oya. But there are some stories in Ifa not as popular because it doesn't fit a certain narrative where she is his mother. There are some stories where Oya is his mother, which would make sense if you know the story of how Shango became a god in the first place, became a deity in the first place, became Orisha, because he was a living man who became Orisha. And it is only through his relationship with Oya that he became his god self. But as his man self, he did some fucked up shit that is representative of young, unbridled, unanchored by his mother. And that he does shit so wildly that he doesn't even realize how bad what he has done is until he's out of it. This is a man who is dominated by his ego, so blind and drunk off power that he doesn't realize the damage he's done until it's too late. And so overwhelmed with grief and guilt about what he had done while he was drunk off ego, while he was drunk off power, the story goes that he went to go kill himself. He went to go hang himself because he was so ashamed and so guilt-stricken by what he had done. And at the moment, because she lies in the space in between, and at the moment where life was about to leave his body, she rescued him. And he became Orisha. But it was a story about the necessity of the slaying of malignant ego in order to be your God self, in order to become your God self. And the only way that that transformation was facilitated was through Oya, was through his mother. And it works even if she was his wife. The only way Listen, somebody mentioned Kali. I am going to tell y'all one more story. Somebody mentioned Kali earlier. Kali's husband is Krishna. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. Somebody Google that. I think it's Krishna. Is it Krishna? Hold on. Hold on, y'all. It's Shiva. My bad. It's Shiva. Kali's husband is Shiva. Okay? And when you see infamous images of the goddess Kali, she's always got there's some man, she's got a bunch of motherfuckers' heads around her, on her belt, around her skirt, you feel me? She got blood hanging from her tongue. She got weapons in her hands. And she looks crazed, if you will. And on the ground below her, her foot is on the chest of this dude, right? And so to look at the picture, you're like, this shit crazy. You know what I'm saying? She got blood hanging from her mouth. Her tongue is out. Her eyes are bugged. She got weapons. She got a skirt. And on the skirt, motherfuckers' heads, skulls is on the skirt. And she got a motherfucker laying on the ground. And she got her foot on this nigga chest. Like, what the hell is going on in this image? And this image has always elicited this latent, like, justification for the hatred of women. It has. Because Kali, the black one, that's what her name means, the black one, who is the primordial creatress of the universe based on Hindu philosophy, right? The beginning of all things, she is, right? Somebody talked about how she is, akin to Oya, and this is true. When she is in battle in this story that this image always portrays, it's a particular story where other personifications of herself, Durga, I believe, don't quote me on that, but I believe it's Durga and one other of her personifications, they are her. Her other personifications are as what? Loving person, right? Loving mother, nurturer, the personification of love, right? And so something happens and this demon comes on the scene and challenges Durga, right? And Durga was like, okay, let's go. Like, you want some smoke? I can bring it. Let's go. And so Durga and her other personification squad up against the demon, right? And so they pull out their blades and they commence to go into work. These loving personifications of the goddess, right? But they was like, we can bring it. We can bring the heat. And so they start slicing at the demon. And every time they cut the demon and his blood hits the ground, a new full-grown version of the demon emerges from where the blood hit the ground. So they slicing and dicing and going to work. And every time some blood sling on the ground, motherfucking demon pop up. So now where there was one demon, now there's a gang of demons, right? When Durga gets to the point where she is almost overwhelmed and subdued, it is said that Kali springs from her head. Kali is that, let me tell you who Kali is in this scenario. So you a mama, right? Somebody do your baby dirty in school. And so you got to go to the school and you got to take heads. You got to cuss somebody out. You feel me? You got to cuss some child mama out for not raising their baby. So this is you, even though you're the loving mother. Now you are the defender of your baby, right? But you're still cool. You're still level-headed. You're still in your right mind. Y'all following? Then the mama of the unruly baby that's been abusing your baby say something wildly slick out the mouth, and you can feel yourself check the fuck out. Y'all had that happen? I had it happen to me, where it literally felt like I was outside my body watching myself respond to this transgression committed against me in slow motion. I'm watching myself respond to this aggression that made me, quote, lose my right mind, lose my sane self, right? And in that same self, that self jumps in and is like, bitch, the nurturing, loving mama you ain't gonna cut it. Let me step in and get this motherfucking work done, bitch. Cause you still trying to reason with a bitch. You still trying to hold back. Let me loose so I can get the shit done. And when I get the shit done, the lesson is gonna be learned in a way that motherfucker won't transgress again. You feel me? This is Durga, the loving mother, fighting the demon. She becomes overwhelmed because this motherfucker is just reproducing as quick as she can draw the blade, right? She checks out and Kali emerges from her head to save the day. Because by the time Kali has come into the story, there have been so many demons that have been reproduced in this battle with Durga that is said that the demons threaten to destroy the world. And this is where the mother comes in to save the day. The black, primordial, wild-haired, crazy-eyed black bitch. When all else fails and when love can no longer allow you to reason with a bitch, now she got to come on the scene to get this motherfucking work in. And so Kali, who is Durga, who is the other personification, I forget her name, who is all the goddesses. Kali is the embodiment of them all. Oya is the, tell me I'm wrong, Oya is the embodiment of them all. Now I know what the tradition says, that the great mother of them all is Yamaya. And in some traditions, they say Nanabudaku. Okay, I get it. But I'm talking about bringing things together. If Oya is the owner of the number 9 and all the other numbers, even in numerology, what do they say? That if you are a number 9 life path number, the number 9 embodies attributes of all the other numbers. Isn't that what they say in numerology? The number 9, being the number of completion, takes with it, enters into it all the lessons, all the gifts, all the gems of all the previous numbers. Why would Oya not be the embodiment of Oshun, who is the number 5, of Yamaya, who is the number 7, and all the male Orisha too? Because who is Oya? The bearded lady. She who puts on pants to go into battle. She brings to the table all the learned lessons, all the gifts, all the gems, and all the skills of numbers 1 through 9 or 1 through 8. She is the personification of all things. Embodied in her is all things. So Kali is the same. She is the embodiment of them all. She is the primordial mother. They talk about Kali. The cult of Kali recognizes her as the loving mother. The loving mother. It is only when things have gone so awry. Y'all know how it is. You reason with a bitch, you reason with a bitch, you reason with a bitch, you reason with a bitch. That's your loving self trying to reason, win you to a position. And at some juncture, the only language you understand is brute force. It's still out of love, but your behavior, the things that you are doing in the world now represent and pose a danger to everyone around you. So now I got to cut up because there ain't no reasoning with you at this point. The only thing you understand is brute force. And so Kali comes on the scene in this story, sees thousands and thousands of demons who have threatened to destroy the entire planet. And she can't let that happen. And so, recognizing that the demon was being multiplied because his blood was falling on the ground. Oh my God. I got to take a note. Oh my God. She comes on the scene and peeps the terrain. Like, what the fuck is going on? And she sees, okay, every time you cut this bitch, he reproduces. Every time his blood spill on the ground, a new one pops up. I got it. So the picture that you see is after she is victorious. Because what has she done? Recognizing and then creating a strategy to address what the scenario is. Every time she cleaves the head off one of these bitches, she instantly drains all the blood from his body so no blood can spill on the ground. Puts his head on her motherfucking skirt. Next. Because his blood is polluting the land. You feel me? The reproduction of him is threatening existence itself. So she's like, I got to do what I got to do. But there is a point in this story. So she's the strategist, Kali. She's doing what she do. You going in. But there is a moment where they say that she becomes so intoxicated by the battle. Who does this sound like? Anybody venture a guess of who else this sounds like? Somebody impress me. It's not hard. Don't overthink it. Somebody tell me who this sounds like. She who gets intoxicated off the blood of battle. Somebody? She too is a counterpart to, to Kali. She too. Nobody? It is Sekhmet. It is Sekhmet. It is Sekhmet. Right? So in the battle, Sekhmet is the other one who is described as getting literally gleefully drunk off the blood of her enemies when she goes into battle. Sekhmet. All right? And so there comes a point where it first off starts strategically. I got to save the world. I got to save the world. I got to save the world. Let me cut these motherfuckers' heads off. Put his head on my motherfucking waist. Let's go. Put his head on my motherfucking waist. Go. Let's go. There's a moment where even she becomes drunk off the blood of her enemy. And so even after all the enemy is dead, because they say she dances when she's in battle. So does Oya. So does Sekhmet. Right? That once the battle is over, she's so high off the battle. She's so high off the blood. She's like, ah! Because as creator, as mother, she can also be destroyer. As creator, as mother, she can also be destroyer. And in her mission to save the world, she got high. That's the crazy that you see. That's the tongue sticking out with the blood hanging from it and the eyes bugged out and her hair wild and her skirt with skulls on it flinging around. She's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then her husband, Shiva, understands what he needs to do to calm her down from victorious battle. He doesn't say a word. In this picture that you see, he lays himself at her feet. And while she is in this frenzy, he picks her leg up and places it on his heart to draw the fire from her head so that she could calm down. Huh? That's the story. That is the story. Is that even though Shiva, at least in this mythology, is as powerful as she, right? Is as impactful to the group as she, he didn't attempt to battle her. He didn't attempt to subdue her. He didn't attempt to he didn't say, I'm the man. He didn't attempt to challenge her. The bitch just saved the goddamn planet. She just saved the planet. He didn't say a word. He laid on his back, powerful God that he was, and picked her foot up and placed it on his heart so that he could draw the fire from her head and calm her down. I don't know no men like that support the world-saving work of women unquestionably, silently, fully supportive of this world-changing work that he recognizes that only women can do. That only in this situation, his black ass, primordial, creative mother can do. Only that work she can do. And once she saves the world, I will place myself prostrate at her feet to calm her down after victorious battle. You understand? That's the story. That's the story. Now, I might have been, I might have livened it up. I tell hood versions of old classics, but you got where I'm coming from. And here we are. Here we are on the precipice of the next 26,000 year, the great year. We are right positioned, right in it, the official end of the Piscean age, the official beginning of the Aquarian age, the next 2,500 years, at the same time that we are entering into an age galactically that has not existed for 26,000 years. And what is unfolding within the context of these two already incredible things? The entry into the Aquarian age, the entry into the next great year. We who are alive, conscious human beings, being able to exist in this momentous period in human history, where we are the usherers end of the next 26,000 years of history on Earth. And we are conscious, thinking, collaborating human beings at this moment. And at the same time that is happening, our entry into the Aquarian age. Why is Oya the beginning and the ending, the alpha and the omega of all things? Because she is both simultaneously present at the end of the Piscean age and present in the Aquarian age, our entry into the Aquarian age. That's why it had to be Pluto. That's why it had to be Oya. You see, this shit is fucking amazing to me. You feel me? It's incredible. You see. And the other thing that is happening at this very moment, there was something. Oh, the other thing, and one of the reasons I wanted to mention Kali, I know there was a long roundabout way of why I wanted to talk about her, is because from the worldview of African tradition, Mayan tradition, even European, Greco-European tradition, this is what this period represents: the entry into the Aquarian age, the ending of the Piscean age, right? And our entry into the next 26,000 year cycle for human beings. Guess what else it is, according to Hindu tradition? We are in the Kali Yuga. We are in the Kali Yuga, which is the last age of the great ages or the great yugas of Hindu tradition. We're in the Kali Yuga right now. The age when the mother, this is Hindu tradition, which too is 6,000 years old. The age when the primordial mother returns to earth. This is it. So even though they use it as a weapon to brainwash you, the revelation was their malignant interpretation of a time when the black ass mother re-emerges and reigns on earth. This is the horror story that they want you to believe is something that you should be fearful of. You feel me? Because Christianity is younger than Hinduism. Christianity is younger than Taoism. Christianity is younger than yin yang theory. Do you not think these philosophies impacted the horror story these motherfuckers wanted to tell to wield instruments of coercion and power? Of course. That's why it's not lost on me that the symbol for the positive sign, which is utmost yang, is also the Christian cross. You feel me? Patriarchy as a figurehead. Yes, patriarchy isn't just white males. White male probably, as far as Mama Zobe said, patriarchy wasn't even created by white males. It was perfected by white males, but not created by white males. You feel me? But white male, father, son, God, patriarchy is the last stage of a long cycle. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. It was not even remotely close to what I was on here to talk to you about. You feel me? Not even close. But it is done. She had something to say, and I'm always here for it. You feel me? My name is Cassandra Floyd. I am also known as the Daughter of the Fates. I'm the founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I do want to do a couple of little housekeeping announcements tomorrow for those of you who have been following along, or those of you who may be interested in know what I'm talking about. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we will be doing our book club, deep dive via Zoom, right? And I'm gonna just tell y'all, we're gonna be doing this every Tuesday. Every second and fourth Wednesday forever. This is going to be our equivalent of Bible study. You know how when you was in the church, you went to Bible study on Wednesday? This is going to be our Bible study. You feel me? So every Tuesday, I don't know why I keep saying Tuesday. Every second and fourth Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be doing our book club, our temple study. And the object of our temple study right now, and probably for the next couple of months, is the book Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. We completed the read of this book the last week of last year. Now we're going to spend the next couple of months deep diving into this extraordinary piece of work. If you do not have the book, you can still participate in the book club. If you do not have the book and want to participate in the book club, just go to my YouTube channel, where you can see that I have read the entire book. So you can always just go to the section that we're covering, listen to that before the book club, so you can have an informed participation in the book club, or you can be an observer. Because even though we're talking about the book is currently relevant. So even as we're talking about very specific things in the book, we're always bringing into the space things that are relevant that she was talking about in this book 40 years ago. So anybody can participate in the book club, i.e. the temple study, every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. The object of that study right now is Pure Lust. The next one that we're going to do is we're going to revisit the book, The Sibyls, the African, Sibyls, African Prophetesses of Mami Wata, and the Theft of African Prophecy by the Roman Catholic Church. That's the book. So that's one thing that's happening. If you are interested, I still have a goal to reach. I told y'all I'm still short my goal. Let's see. $2,384. I have to make the payment by midnight. It's ambitious. We shall see. But if you are interested in assisting in that way, then hire me, get a reading from me, get a nutritional consultation from me. My readings for an hour are $150. My nutritional consultations are $150 for 1 hour. If you want a shorter reading, a 30-minute reading, that is $85. For those of you who may be local, I do in-house treatments. So that is huge. Energy work, spiritual work, or hands-on therapy, right? So I practice 5 elements medicine. Okay, so this theory that I'm talking about, yin yang theory, that's what I practice in my hands-on practice. So if you need a reading, this is a great time to get a reading. Pluto just entered Aquarius. This next 2 weeks plus we're on the precipice of this full moon that I didn't even talk about. We got a full moon coming up in 2 days. The first full moon of the new year, which is the Leo full moon in Aquarius. This is magnanimous shit. This is an epic time to direct your course for this momentous year. Okay? Direct your course, direct your life, get a reading. Okay? So you can contribute to what I talked to y'all about 2.5 hours ago for me meeting this goal by reaching out to me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. So if you want to help in that way, email me tonight at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. And what I will do is I will just forward you the email that I sent out yesterday that had people, show up for me and help me with this kind of urgent situation that I'm in. So I'll just forward you that has all the information, and then we can book the appointment for your reading or your treatment or whatever it is, or your nutritional consultation, whatever it is that you need from me in that capacity. Let me just crunch the numbers really quick about what I need to make that goal. So if I divided that by 150, hold on just a second. I'm just going to do some quick math. Open up my little calculator. Calculator. Cool. Okay, so if I divide what I am still short, that is $2,385 divided by $150. I only need 16 people. I only need 16 people to buy a 1 hour, which is $150, a 1 hour reading, a 1 hour nutritional consultation. That consultation comes with a complete write-up, your diagnosis, what you need to, like, how you need to eat, dietary recommendations, nutritional recommendations in terms of supplements and so on. It leaves no stone unturned on how to get in front of whatever your wellness objective is. That is a complete nutritional and diagnostic consultation. That's $150. And then if you are local, it's the same thing. It's $150 for the consult and the treatment. Okay. So email me I see you 4K Walks and Travels. Thank you so much. So email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com to inquire. Put that in the header. Put like treatment or consult or reading in the subject header so I can know exactly what it is. Okay. So I think that's all I have for you. Tomorrow I will not be doing a live. I don't think. Tomorrow is the book club, and that's 2 hours. Ideally, the last book club we was on that joint for 4 hours. It was good, but it was long. So tomorrow I'm going to be really disciplined to try to keep it, around the 2 hour mark. Right. So tomorrow I'm going to be, preparing for that. Tonight and tomorrow I'll be preparing for that. So email me, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. And any way that you can, assist me in that is freaking phenomenal. And so ultimately received with huge, unparalleled gratitude. And then I will see you guys tomorrow. Those of you who are interested also in the book club, need details about the book club, do the same thing. Put book club in the subject header, email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com so I can send you the link to register for the book club. All right, that's all I got for you. I appreciate you all for sticking with me and listening to me rant. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, peace.